where this afternoon on their first tour ever, the present champions of all Russia, Dínamo Kiev, take on the California Clippers, who were the 1967 pro champs in the United States. I'm Mario Machado, and with me this afternoon to bring you all the exciting color and action, the coach of the UCLA soccer team, an authority in this great game of soccer, Dennis Stora. What do you think about the two teams, Dennis?
Well, this is a great occasion in American soccer, Mario, mainly because this Russian team is reputed to be one of the best to come out of Russia in the last 20 years. And the interesting thing about it is that the Clippers side is mainly made up of players with a background in Eastern European soccer. So we have here Eastern European players from Russia and many from Yugoslavia who are playing for the Clippers, and the Yugoslavian Clippers are really representing the best of what is American soccer. We're going to see how it comes out today.
Well, the interesting thing is that the two coaches, Viktor Maslov Sr., who is well known for what he's done with Dynamo Kiev, and Obradovic of the California Clippers, have played against each other 5 times before, and the Yugoslavian Dr. O of the Clippers having won 3 of those 5 times. So I really think there's more to it than just an exhibition game. It's going to be an all-out type affair.
Yes, there's a tremendous rivalry between Dr. Obradovic and the Russian coach, and I know the Russian coach is going to be after a win today to try and draw almost level with him.
Well, we're going to be looking at the players and introducing them to you as soon as we get a chance to establish all the 11 players of each starting side. Stadium, we're looking out from the press box. Ball intercepted. And they say Fernandez tried to trip number 7, Bagovic, and a free kick, the first free kick of the game.
Yes, I think the Russians are already lining up into the normal 4-2-4 system used all over the world now.
And there's a goal, a rapid goal, and a rapid goal from Dynamo Kiev. A free kick high in the air, a headshot towards the inside, and a first-timer. And Rich had no chance.
No, he brought that ball straight over, took it on a hook shot. It was a brilliant shot with no hesitation at all. The defense were caught napping rather square, and the goalkeeper wasn't even... died far too late.
So here we are, probably 1 minute of play having gone by, and Dynamo Kiev in the lead, 1-0. Clippers still with the ball, trying to get it in. Heroes, oh, Fernandez all alone, and he scores! And the game is all tied up. Fernandez coming through on a beautiful pass with his right foot, putting it high into the net. 1-1, Dennis.
Cirilo Fernandez, every time he gets a chance like that, he's got great power. He wouldn't be hustled off that ball, and he hit it straight into the roof of the net. An easy chance, but one which he might have missed had he not hit it straight through. The goalkeeper was coming out. A good shot.
We have about 2 minutes gone, 2 goals scored. 1-1 is the name of the game. It looks like a high-scoring match throughout. Clippers with the ball. Heroes losing the ball. Number 11 of Dinamo, Porcuyan, the world-class player, tearing down the sidelines. Stops the ball, looks for a teammate, tries to get through, could not get through Marin. Marin again loses it. Ball being brought inside. Number 10 with the ball, Serebryanikov, puts it through, cleared away by the chopper, and put safely out of play. Very sticky in midfield.
Yes, that's Ferenc Medved on the ball at the moment. He's the man who will be working up into attack, but he's beaten there. I expect to see the forwards having a slight advantage because of the ground conditions. We may indeed have a high-scoring game here.
That's Bagovic, number 7, on the right. And the ball goes out of bounds, and when that happens, it's a throw-in. Do you see any particular strategy forming or styles of play that are coming to bear now that they're 1 goal each, and really the testing period is quite through at this point? I think they know what each team wants to do, and that's score. Fernandez.
Yes. There's a slight, the Clippers side are only having 2 men up at the moment. They're not really going into picking up the loose balls and feeding the 4 forwards, and always that extra fullback behind in the 4 fullback system.
Radikov played that ball deep downfield, and a mistake by Chop, but safely taken by Gavric. Chop now with the ball at midfield, passing it beautifully to Mitic. Mitic running through. Kowalik feeds it away, and here's the shot at goal by Davidovic, and just
the position.
What a breathtaking start. Dínamo Kiev, champions of Russia, with the ball, losing it. Clippers playing the short passing game. Dinamo with the ball, long ball. Porcuyan running through, the ball cleared away safely. Very dangerous play. Sefer, the Hungarian, with the ball. Clippers the attack, and that's Sabo, the world-class player.
Sabo's footwork is something we'll be looking for. He's a man who is not afraid to go forward right through into the defense, beat his man and have a shot. He plays a completely roving game and he turns up anywhere.
Ball quickly put into play by the Clippers. Stojanovic tapping it. Gavrich with the ball. And here we have an opportunity that is lost by the Russians. Middle of the field is very chopped up, is it not, Dennis, in your opinion?
Yes.
I don't know how they hold the ground. Do they have long studs on today?
Yes, they'll have their long studs. And I do notice that the ground conditions are such that they're playing rather loosely onto each other. There's not the very tight marking that might be associated with two teams of such world class as this.
Fernandez gets unceremoniously dumped on the grass of Kizar, and it's a free kick for the Clippers. A bad pass by Davidovich, intercepted by the white-shirted Russians. They're on attack. Turyanchik.
Both sides, Mario, I think, are having a little difficulty getting used to these conditions. Particularly the difference, there's this very bad patch up the middle and then some very good patches of grass elsewhere. They'll try and keep the ball, I think, out to the wings, but it's much greener and much firmer.
Davidovich passing out to the right to Marin. Marin losing the ball. Russians now. Beautiful combination. Look at that. Ball goes out of bounds. Referee indicates Clippers. Again headed out of bounds. This same team, these same two teams, move up to our part of the world, Dennis, next Sunday when they take on the... They meet once again at the Coliseum, and a large crowd is expected there for this return match.
Yes, it's going to be a great day for Los Angeles sport. We've had some fine... This ranks with any side that's come from Europe.
Russians at midfield with the ball. Still not very dirty in their white shirts. None of them really have slipped considering the bad and treacherous conditions. The deep pass through, gone astray, picked off by the chopper. Clippers with the ball. Marin on the right. He's an exciting player, very small, very fast, and he puts it beyond the reach of Fernandez.
Power and shooting qualities today. He's trying to get loose the whole time.
Russians, running into the middle, still with the ball. The ball is taken away from him on a sliding tackle by Gavrich, giving the Russians their first corner kick.
Marin ever dangerous there. He was almost through. I think if he'd got a left-footed shot in there, it could have been a goal.
Short corner kick, quickly taken by the kick.
Goal kick taken from the 6-yard mark, and they're playing it short, trying to keep ball control the whole time.
If they can bring this type of team in on a regular basis, this level or caliber of play, I think then that soccer will get its second breath, if you will, Dennis, because people do want to see the best, and Dinamo is surely one of the best teams.
Oh, yes, with the addition of players like Fernandez and John Kwalik, must rank with any American side we've seen to date in the 2 professional years of American soccer.
Russians breaking through. Very dangerous, high leaping kick. No call by the referee. And Kowalik fakes his man right at the center stripe. He's moving now towards the Russian goal, looking for a teammate, puts it high in the air. Kiros has it, fakes it with his left foot, puts it in the middle, and it's intercepted by Dinamo's fullbacks.
Yes, the inside forwards are having difficulty in moving into a position to take through passes. It's very slippy in front of goal.
Number 2, Medved, the international, with the ball. Sabo, also World Cup player, trying to get through, can't, pushes it back safely. Ball put in the middle. Sefer comes through. Fernandez gets the ball, puts it back, and here the Clippers on the attack. Midic. Kowalik with the ball, can't win in a tussle with Medved.
Yes, that was Soskikin who broke up that attack there. He's the general of the penalty area for the Kiev side. Very powerful man.
A long pass. The linesman said no offside. It was too deep for the Russians to catch before it went over the end line. And the Clippers again put it into play. The Dínamo Kiev team has the distinction of having beaten one of those great soccer sides of all time, Glasgow Celtics, in one of the European Cup matches last year, which put them out of action for good. It's an exciting game.
Dynamo Kiev have never won the European Cup, but they've always been in contention many, many times.
Sabo with the ball. He's Hungarian. Plays for this Russian side. Ball is very, very slippery there in the center where it's very muddy. Hofved still with the ball for the Clippers. Trying to get it out of there safely. Puts it way across field to Zephyr. Zephyr now moving forward. Kicks it high and deep to Kowalik. Cleared away.
Not a great difference in styles of play, Mario, mainly because, in fact, many of these players had their soccer background in the same area of the world.
That was Puzac passing the ball off. Ball put out to the left wing. Zephyr cleverly traps the ball, brings it under control, moves forward, trying to find some of his teammates. The Clippers now looking to get their second goal. The score all tied up 1-1, and those two goals came rapidly in perhaps the first 3 minutes of play. Kiros putting it through, again taken by Sosnikin.
A moment, neither side able to force a player open.
That's Chop leaping over the back of a player, which is an infraction. We have a free kick for the Russians.
This is Medved's role. He often moves up into attack. Often goes up in the tradition the Glasgow Celtic used, that of a fullback going up as an extra man. We may expect to see Medved during the game occasionally carrying on straight with the ball up the wing and making that extra man.
Russians in the center circle. Number 8, Sabo, their World Cup Hungarian player, puts it out to the right wing, chips it into the middle. Number 9, Puzac running in. The ball cleared away by Chop. Corner kick.
Yes, he looked dangerous. Puzac was going through then, and that's all he could do, give away that corner kick. Big tight marking now in the penalty area. He'll get at least a 2-on-1 situation.
Right footer, outswinger, cleared away by Gavrich. Russians still with the ball. Ball still in play. Still being controlled by the Russians.
A remarkable little duel going on between those two players. Down the line the whole way, covering 20 yards.
We have another infraction. The Clippers have a free kick. Correction, the ball went out of bounds, and they're going to throw it in. Some more people still coming in here, Dennis. I can't see the crowd beneath us. I can hear them, but I can't see them, and the other side is quite fully populated at this time.
Oh, yes, there must be, I think, 15 or 20,000 people here today.
Zephyr took a shot from about 30 yards out, just skimmed along the ground, and the goalie looked at it without even trying for it. What about this new goalkeeping rule where you can do that, Dennis?
Yes, it was noticeable there that he didn't bother to bounce the ball. He dribbled the ball out a bit because he can only take 4 steps now. He may not take more than 4 steps. Formerly, he'd just bounce the ball and keep going out to the penalty area. Now 4 steps, he must kick it. It stops time wasting with goalkeepers.
Zephyr trying to see Kowalik, couldn't get him. The Soviet Dynamo Kiev team on the move. Gavrich comes in there, intercepts, puts it to Kiros. Little Bill out on the left, 3-year veteran with the Clippers. Popular player in the Bay Area. Davidovic, 2-year veteran, acquired from Red Star Belgrade, putting it out to Zephyr, who is in this attacking role as fullback.
Yes.
Ball out of bounds.
Clippers trying to hold this ball a little tighter. They're trying to force a player loose all the time, whereas we expect to see the Russians probably hit the long through balls as soon as they get their attacking style going.
There are 2 distinct styles of play that are evident now. The Clippers playing very short, precise passes, and the Russians going for that long ball. Sosnikin with the ball, taps it back to his goalkeeper, Radikov.
Like many of the any sport that Russia has taken up, they've absorbed the best of all styles. All their game linked to tremendous fitness. It's neither the stroking artistry of the Brazilians or the Italians.
Puzac giving the ball to Sabo, who ran into the open space, and the ball was put away out of bounds. Russians, I think, always a threat within that 18, because they seem to know exactly where that ball is coming.
Yes, there's a certain hard efficiency about their play and tremendous teamwork. Their coach has said that, in fact, this is not a team of stars, it's a team of players, their whole style, their whole strength based on pure teamwork, even though they have 4 international players amongst them.
Little passing going on in the Clipper half of the field. The Russians with the ball, looking for an opening, find their number 10 Sebryanikov alone. Still with the ball, getting through one defender, a sliding tackle, and the ball put out to the right wing for Kuyan there, number 11 to meet the ball, faking his man, dancing with the ball, puts it across with a left foot, high and deep, cleared away. Here's an opportunity, left foot first timer, going over the post with a great jump by Stojanovic to make sure it doesn't settle into that corner, Dennis.
Yes, it's an indication of Pokoyan's class. He's moved in from the left wing and he's playing the midfield role. I think they're using their strongest players to roam in an effort to create openings.
Now, and with the score, California Clippers 1 and Dínamo Kiev 1. We'll be back with more action after this important message. We're in the first half. The score's all tied up 1-1 here at Kezar Stadium between the Russian champions Dínamo Kiev and the California Clippers. Very exciting so far. Looks like whoever gets that second goal will probably make his team play defense and just pack that 1-goal lead. Do you think that's a probability, Dennis?
This is very possible, Mario. Fernandez, a wonderful chance here. He's
left-footed shot by Kowalik on a return pass, just going by the post, and the score still is 1-1. Russians never unnettled. They seem very calm about all these attacks on their goal.
Yes, a good long through ball there. The Russians, in fact, are a superbly disciplined side.
Ball tapped out of bounds. Porkuyan trying to make the turn, couldn't get around, and now the Russians have that corner kick.
I think it's an indication, Mario, that in these first few minutes there is little or nothing between the two teams in class. It's a good indication that a world-class team like Kiev can come over here and meet a team equally good, the California Clippers.
Great high center and safely put back from Sefer to Stojanovic. I noticed one thing in the gear that the Russians are using. A lot of them are not using the low-cut boot. I noticed particularly Porkuyan, number 11, playing with high tops, which is very rare in modern-day soccer, unless he's wearing some type of anklet protection.
Yes, this is probably because, in fact, Kiev will play on heavy grounds. The lighter boot has been developed, particularly in South America, where the grounds are light.
Shot from Sefer right into the hands of goalkeeper Radikov. Now, the California Clippers, through the California Soccer Football Association, presents this game, and with the type of fan reaction they're getting, this looks like the trend of things, international contests rather than playing against Chicago or Detroit, but meeting great international sides here on their home field.
Yes, I think this is a good indication as well, Mario, that some of the better players now are all fine shot there. Fine shot there by number 10, Cebrano.
There's a great 1-2 pass. Soccer's a game of little flicks and a lot of understanding between the forwards, and he saw number 10 coming through, put it to him, and he fired it with his right foot. We have charging from the back by number 5, Kulikovsky, the center half of the Russians, on Fernandez. So Davidovich of the Clippers. The Clippers, of course, in the darker uniforms, the Russians playing all in white. Clippers moving left to right on your screen towards the Russian goal. Sosnikin heading the ball away. Number 10, Serebryakov with the ball. Fakes his man, dribbles through the middle, crosses the center stripe, moving towards the goal, looking for an opening. Overruns the ball smartly, then loses it. Oh! Number 9 through, all by himself, and Buzak scores number 2 for Dínamo Kiev, and a great single move.
Yes, that was a bad mistake, Mario, by the Clippers defense. The man dribbled through, the 4 fullbacks, were 4 of them in position, and they all left him to each other, and he just went through.
Here we see number 9, Sebryanikov, breaking through, Stojanovic coming out, trying to tackle him, and with his right foot putting it past any defender. So we're back to live action. Dínamo Kiev have gone out in front 2-1. We're still in the first half. I would say 20 minutes of the game, 20 of 45 minutes have gone. and the Russians lead 2-1 on, like Dennis pointed out, a defensive lapse by the Clippers.
Yes, that's the first. The game has been very equal until now. That's the first real indication that we've had of the Kiev team being on top.
Begovic putting it in the middle. Beautiful pass, the give and go, and too deep in. Stojanovic comes out, collects it for his team. The Clippers have not made any true mass penetration. There are one or two strikers running through towards goal, but they have not gone through as the Russians have done.
Yes, well, I don't think we've seen yet the best of Cirilo Fernandez, who is very explosive.
Russians on the attack. Out on the wing with the ball, putting it across the goal mouth. Sefer heads it away safely, but Russians still have it. Number 7, Begovic with the ball. Davidovich comes through with the ball from the Clippers.
This is Davidovic's strength, this long driving through, took the ball through his man. Very powerful player indeed.
Made a beautiful move and then gave the ball to the other team with a bad pass.
His strength rather tends to be defensive rather than attacking. He needs, I think, to be able to distribute the ball a little bit better.
Here we go again. Here's an opportunity. And the shot muffled by number 2, Sefer, who's having a tremendously difficult task in keeping track of the fast, fleet-footed Russians.
It's becoming apparent, Mario, that in the penalty area, as green as they look, the footing is treacherous, and there was almost another mistake leading to another goal. I think we're going to see quite a few goals if the conditions continue to chop up like they are now.
Sefer put the ball out of bounds there, but then the linesman awarded a free kick to the Clippers for a pushing foul. So Gavrich, with his left foot, puts it back into the goal mouth area. Stojanovic applying that 4-step rule, bringing the ball to the farthest end of that goal or penalty area and booming it out of there for the Clippers. With these new balls that they're playing with, they are water repellent, are they not, and don't get waterlogged?
Yes, they won't increase in weight. They will, there'll be a slight film of water on them, but the weight of the ball, and this is very important, will not change.
That weight, if I remember right, my statistics, the ball is about 27 inches around, and here's a bad pass nearly taken away from the goalkeeper by one of those Russian forwards. And 16 ounces in weight at playing time at least. Hofved with the ball for the Clippers. Putting it into the middle. Mitic loses the ball. Number 7, Begovic, collects for the Russians. Great ball control in this very treacherous field. And here's the chopper. Crossing the center stripe for the Clippers. Looking, putting it through. Kowalik keeping it, deciding whether to break through the middle, and he loses the ball in a sliding tackle to Krulikovsky.
Fernandez being very closely marked there. He needed to move inside his man to have a chance, but they've obviously heard of his reputation. They're giving a very close mark on him.
Begovic on a 1-on-1, losing the ball. Russian still with the ball. And Chop for sort of hooking after the tackle was made, giving the Russians a free kick. We're going to have difficulty, Dennis. I see the numbers becoming obliterated on the jerseys. We hardly know these players. Deep ball.
The tradition in Europe has not been, as here in America, to have numbers on both sides. This is, I think, something that Europeans can learn from the American system.
Great headshot by number 5, Krulikovsky. The defenders are very strong and big, as opposed to the Clippers defenders, who are short, compactly strong, but not as tall. Sliding tackle, bringing Russian player Porkuyan down on the ground, and it's a throw-in.
Porkuyan's very fast on the outside run there.
Now here's a great shot of some of the fine crowd that's here. It has been raining, and there are threatening clouds over Kezar Stadium. Chop, number 5, playing the ball to Sefer. Right fullback, moving into attacking position, crossing half field, beating his man, and then losing it. Begovic safely playing it back.
Now, the Russians are settling down very much now. They're not scared to move the ball about in defense, play the ball back, as long as they can complete possession all the time.
They're not holding to their regular positions, and here comes that speed again. The boy still with the ball. Oh, it hits the post. He beat the goalkeeper, who came out, and one of his teammates sliding in missed the ball. It hit the post, rebounded out, the ball still in play. Clippers with the ball.
That would have been a remarkable goal. Porkuyan beat his man on the outside and squared the ball within a few inches of the goal. In fact, it swung in and hit the post and just needed nudging in. It's a bad miss there by Kiev.
That was an interesting angle. He was on the touchline, and that means he was shooting at 90 degrees. Russians on the attack. Porkuyan, number 11, with the ball, putting it safely in. Oh, give and go. Porkuyan couldn't get there in time. Ball cleared by Sefer.
I think the Clippers' 4 fullbacks will have to mark much tighter to stop these fast-moving. The Russians are wandering about all the time, never still, trying to find an open space. And the 3 times now the Clippers' fullbacks have been caught napping by playing too square.
Little dancing going on there, 1-on-1. The Russians still with the ball. Ball put out of bounds and a corner kick given, and that's Porkuyan, a World Cup player that Dynamo Kiev has 5 of. Right foot, outswinger. Ball cleared away, but again badly. Here's a running shot at goal by number 6. Turyanchik, and it goes wide, and the Clippers have a goal kick.
Yes, I don't think we should see much midfield shooting because the midfield patch there is so heavy. It's shooting out of a quagmire. They'll try and put this ball out onto the wings and then bring the ball back to their forwards as they come through.
3-year veteran, resident of California now. Chop putting it out. Kowalik, the boy from Chicago, top scorer in the NSL, giving the ball to Davidovich, who now has the ball, trying to get away, loses the ball. Number 11, Porkuyan on this side now, on the left side, dancing, weaving, getting away, trapping the ball, back kicking.
Yes, Porkuyan's wandering all the time. He's already played both in the center, on the right wing, and now he's turned up on the outside left.
Sefer had to use some physicalness to get that ball out of play, and the Russians have a free kick. For charging violation, number 7, Bagovic, to take that kick. Referee saying bring it back a bit. Right footers headed away, and here number 4 dashing into the penalty area, Levchenko losing the ball. Fernandez no chance, got tripped. I thought that was a rather odd move, catching the ball like that, but it's a free kick for the Clippers.
Clippers have to attack now. They're moving. They're just leaving Chop. He's the only man back left in their own half.
Davidovich now on the right here, trying to beat his man, being forced to the outside. Marin with the ball, puts it across the middle, cleared away safely by the Russians, who... It's a fair bump.
An old-fashioned shoulder charge. You don't see very much of it nowadays. Most of the accent is on ball work, but you can charge a man shoulder to shoulder if both men are going for the ball.
Play getting a bit rough now, a little more physical contact. Kowalik with the ball, breaking away from his man.
Beautiful pass.
Oh, let's see what kind of a foul that is.
The foul was in the penalty area.
It should be a penalty kick, but let me see. The referee has his hand up saying it's an indirect. What could it be an indirect for, Dennis?
I think he's giving it indirect for obstruction. They were obstructing Sorella going for the ball. I thought personally Fernandez was offside at that stage, but for an obstruction, it's not a direct free kick. It's indirect, which means the ball must be played either by another Clipper, or it must go off a Russian defender to be put into the net.
About 16 minutes left to go, 29 minutes having been played. 2-1 the score in favor of Dynamo Kiev, an indirect free kick. All players
must keep 10 yards away from the ball until the ball is kicked.
Very poorly played, or very well protected. There was a wall there of Soviet defenders. Oh, too long a wait. You've got to play it back. Upvet putting it in the air. Fernandez jumping for it. And a scissors kick by Davidovich goes wide, and we have a goal kick.
No messing about by those Russian defenders. In a situation like that, all 11 men were within 15 yards of their own goal. The Russians, in a situation like that, will always fall back onto total defense.
Now the referee is taking the name of a player at midfield. It looks like Ilya Mitic, number 8, is having his name taken. Referee says play on, and the Russians will put the ball into play. 15 minutes now to play, 30 minutes having elapsed. Clippers down by 1 goal to score 2-1. What is the key difference so far in that 1-goal spread, Dennis, as the Clippers go and attack?
I think the Russians are a yard faster, which hardly takes. Sorella in a wonderful chance here.
He tried to fool his man. He put the ball between himself and the defender and then flicked it, trying to get Kowalik coming the other way, but it was right into the hands of goalkeeper Radikov.
I think the Russians are just a yard faster at the moment, and they're certainly a very hard side. All Russian teams have the reputation of playing hard, aggressive, but good football, and this Kiev side is no exception. I think also, Mario, that Fernandez should tend to take the ball through more himself. He's trying to create scores for other players, and his great strength is his explosive shooting and bursting through on his own. He's a little too modest in his play at the moment.
The pushing foul, Sefer pushing number 11, Porkuyan, and the referee awarding a free kick. Now, the Clippers side really has strengthened itself by adding the two players, Kowalik and Fernandez, and they're doing remarkably well against a side that is well known internationally. The Clippers, of course, have not toured yet overseas. Dinamo with the ball. Some fine footwork on this very slippery turf. Cleared away. And here comes Marin. Marin on the right, getting the ball, putting it through to Hoffved. Hoffved running onto the ball, passing it beautifully to Fernandez, who fakes his man, stops it with the outside, puts it back right to Davidovic, who is moving in, puts it back to Hoffved, who's looking now, puts it back to Davidovic, and a shot wide.
Again, there were six Russian defenders there, marking 3 Clippers forwards. The Russians have a great facility for moving back quickly in defense and packing their penalty area whenever.
Oh, bad shot. He had an opportunity.
Kowalik could have held that ball longer. A wonderful opportunity then, but he took a quick shot. A hopeful one, I think.
Number 9, Puzac. Russians, Puzac breaking through, giving that long ball through the middle. Stojanovic coming out of the nets to get it. Ball being put on the left side to Gavrich to go in the attack. Clippers in blue moving left to right, down 1 goal. 12 minutes to play in this first half.
Basically, even with a 4-2-4 system, there will be constantly 2 forwards up, 2 forwards acting as strikers, ready to play the ball to the other 2 strikers who will take the ball through on the burst. Very quick runner, Sefer is as a fullback, trying to go through. The ball caroms off his legs, and Dinamo, with that score, California Clippers down 1 goal against Dínamo Kiev, 2-1. Let's pause for this commercial message. Across the goal mouth, taken safely by number 4. Levchenko puts it way out in midfield. Hoffved finds Davidovic, but too high for him. Now, is there any similarity as far as the connection between Dinamo Moscow and Dinamo Kiev? Are they separate clubs playing in separate cities? No tie? No, they're 2 of the finest clubs in Russia. Both clubs too.
Great pass by Porkuyan, number 9, all by himself, and he just slips the ball around the goalkeeper. Number 9, Puzac, surprising and fooling Stojanovic with a sort of a banana shot that went around him on the ground.
Wonderful goal, Mario. Shows the utter class of Puzac. He was under pressure there. He quickly went forward onto that ball, and it seemed, with the goalkeeper coming out quite correctly, that he couldn't get the ball. But he hit it with the outside of his right foot and just sliced it inside the post. A remarkable goal.
Score now, Dinamo Kiev in this first half with about 11 minutes to play, leading 3-1. California Clippers goal came very early in the game as a retaliatory measure for the first goal scored in the first minute by Dinamo. Here we see again Puzac running through and then slicing it by, and no chance at all for Stojanovic to control his balance.
All 3 goals so far by the Russians has come as a result of the loose break. The long ball that caught the California Clippers defense square. Given a one-on-one situation, a forward will normally always beat his man.
Russians hustling, conserving their energy when they have to, and here's that beautiful long ball. The linesman waiting. He calls it a goal kick.
I think as the game wears on, the heavy conditions are going to tell against one or other of the teams. And at the moment, I would favor Moscow-Kiev as being the fitter of the two teams.
Well, that's what those press releases keep saying, that the people who have observed them in training here in Northern California at all the places that they practiced during their one-week stay have been amazed at their fantastic physical fitness, and that they've been able to play every day and never seem to want to stop running.
Yes, 2 hours they work out every day, constant running and scrimmaging.
It's not just light work, from what I gather, and we're looking forward to seeing them in Southern California when they come up there to practice. And here we have a breakthrough for Davidovich. Oh, low ball cleared away by the Russian defense.
All these Russian players, Mario, are, of course, amateurs under the Russian system, though many of them, in fact, really are state supervised, and many of them also are students of physical education, which is some indication of the tremendous fitness that they have.
Well, I don't mean to be derogatory, but I think that the people who follow Russian sports call that, I think, if it's not professionalism and not amateurism, it's shamateurism, because really what they are paid athletes of the state for the most part.
Yeah.
Whether you're a soldier or a locomotive worker, you in essence have time to play lots of football and therefore hone up on your skill. Here's Kowalik through, trying to dribble, gets tripped down, and we have a free kick outside of the penalty area. Direct free kick.
The Clippers will probably have a set move for this, either someone taking a really hard shot.
Right below us from our announce booth here, we see Dr. Obradovich sitting on the bench with the two owners of the Clippers, Toby Hilliard and Joe O'Neill, and they're having their own little discussion as to what. Great shot over the goal bar.
Yes, he tried to hook it in, a curling shot that he hoped to go into the top left-hand corner. It just went about a foot wide. One of the interesting things in world competition, Mario, is that the Olympic Games, which of course is for amateur teams, has always been dominated by Eastern European teams, the Russians, the Yugoslavs, and so on, where these amateur players, so-called, in fact, are allowed to play at Olympic competition, whereas the true professionals from teams like Germany and Britain, of course, can't play in Olympic competition.
Hungary won the Olympic champions against Bulgaria, if I recall right.
Yes.
And it's always an Eastern European team. Now, the World Cup matches coming up in 1970 give us here in the United States a great opportunity to see some of the greatest players and greatest national teams of the world who will be meeting in Mexico City. 17 of them. And the United States has a good chance at this time. Russia on the attack. Dínamo Kiev. Porkuyan. Great shot deflected out of bounds. And we have a corner kick.
Fans moving up there. The Russians are trying to bring an extra man with this lead, two-goal lead. They're trying to bring the extra man up in attack. They'll probably play a slightly looser game. They've taken advantage of the conditions best of all.
39 minutes gone, Dennis. 3-1 the score. Kiev in charge of this game at this point. Has there been any letdown that you can visualize as far as the Clippers, or are they still pressing to get those tying goals which they need, all two of them?
Well, the Clippers don't seem to be able to put the long ball through and get a man free. It could be that the Russian marking is too close, but I think the Russians are making much better use of the conditions. They're they're all capable of dribbling the ball, and they're first-class ball artists, but we're seeing very little dribbling on the Russian side. They're using the ball, trying to create the long ball through.
Seeing this as an exhibition game, the Russians are not really letting... Oh, Kowalik had a chance. Headshot from Fernandez to him on his right foot, and he balloons the ball. Great opportunity for that first timing shot. Had he hit it right, would have been like the first goal the Russians put in.
Oh, yes. It was a first-class chance there, but he rather lifted his head and let fly. It was all or nothing.
Very tall, rangy goalkeeper. Is that... I've never seen a Russian team play other than Yashin in the national side, Dennis. Are they all that tall and rangy?
Well, yes. Every Russian goalkeeper I've seen so far has been well over 6 feet. Yashin, I think, of course, was the most famous, the most typical example of it.
Porkuyan with the left foot, putting it in the middle, cleared by Hofbet. Clippers with the ball. Kiros coming into the middle. looking for someone, finds Sefer charging onto the ball. Sefer and Marin looking to combine. Marin gets the ball, puts it deep across the middle, and it's anyone's ball. The ball cleared away by Dinamo. Number 9, Puzac, who scored that last goal, putting a deep ball through, and it skims on the turf.
I think it's showing the Russians are moving from defense into attack quicker and more efficiently than the Clippers side. The Clippers not getting back when their attacks break down.
Ball from Davidovich to Kowalik. Kowalik with the ball, loses it. Last touch by Dinamo.
John Kowalik, a good example of the aggressive American player with all his background in this country, constantly on the move.
See the overrunning of the ball, very cleverly played to draw the man out. Again, using those shoulder charges, which are quite legal. Great exhibition of soccer. The ball being kept in the air like a circus act. Head shots, brilliant jumping kicks. Davidovich with the ball, puts it too far in front, loses it. Touch last by the Russians.
The Russians prepared to play the squares in defense until they can keep the ball all the time until they can get a man free.
Hoffvet putting a bad pass, intercepted. Now, all of a sudden, the Russians have 4-on-4. Quickly moving into the attack. Number 10, Serebryanikov, puts it out, and the linesman puts his flag up for the first time. Offside. Explain that.
The offside rule, the only major rule that fans have picking up, he was in front of the player as the ball was played. He was in front of the last defender as the ball was played.
Clippers with the ball. Hoffvet to Davidovich. About 3 minutes left to go. Dynamo Kiev in the lead, 3-1 at this point. Davidovich with the ball, very cleverly puts it across the middle to Hoffvet. Hoffvet breaks through 2 defenders, loses the ball to number 7, Bagovic, and number 9, Puzac. Darting across, tearing away from his defenders all the way to the other side of the field. Porkuyan with the ball. Porkuyan still with the ball. It's a foot race. Chop and Porkuyan. And Chop just slams it out of bounds. And with the score, Dynamo Kiev 3, California Clippers 1. We'll be back with more exciting action after this important message. And there's an infraction. No, it's a corner kick, I believe, that has been awarded to the Dinamo team to be taken by their World Cup world-class player, Porkuyan. 3-1, 2 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Great shot high. Stojanovic jumping, catching it very safely. Kiros tearing down the left side of the field. Cuts in the middle, looking for an open player, beats his man again. Davidovich coming out to help him, puts it across the field to Marin. Marin now with the ball. Hoffvet trailing him on the right. Puts it out to Hoffvet. Hoffvet must get it into the center. He does. And Kowalik is there, the great scorer from Chicago. Tries to beat his man on a dribble, loses it on a sliding tackle. Mitic with the ball. Puts it into the center with a right in swing. Oh, right into the hands on a one bouncer.
It's becoming apparent, Mario, that the Clippers at the moment don't have a man in midfield who can hit an accurate long through pass. They're trying to work the open out from midfield with a good 30 or 40 yard pass that's really dangerous. It's led to 2 out of the 3 goals.
That goal kick went 70 yards. 70 yards on that last goal kick from their tall goalkeeper Radikov. Russians on attack. Puzac with the ball, breaks through. The screen, still has the ball, gets on the line and right into the hands of Stojanovic. Another scoring attack thwarted by the Clippers, but a bad pass to number 6, Turyanchik, and he puts it wide.
As I said before, we'll see very little shooting from far out because that area is much too heavy to get a good shot in. The goalkeeper had it well covered.
Like to know what kind of a crowd we have. It is very cold here at Kizar. The wind is blowing at this time. There are some blue skies, but also some threatening clouds hovering around. If it rains again here, I think the field will completely be a mud patch. Kowalik with the ball, heads it, Fernandez. Still with the ball, tripped. No foul, no harm, play on. Turyanchik with the ball. Ball put into the middle. Hoffet coming up, puts it out to the left to Kiros. Kiros.
John Kwolek, a touch of the actor there. He was nowhere near foul, but he hurled himself about 5 yards inside the penalty area, trying to get a penalty, which of course would have been a free kick straight at goal. But the referee not buying it.
Very good officiating. The ball game is well in hand. There has been no real brutality. There's been huffing and puffing and very tough, particularly the shoulder charges from the Russians. Kiros with the ball for the California Clippers on the left. They're behind 3-1, and unofficially no time is left on the scoreboard. 3-1, Clippers down. Ball cleared away. Scissor kick by Sefer. Kiros with the ball, puts it into the middle. Mitic with the ball, trying to break through the defense and is tripped. And we have a free kick. Free kick unofficially, no time on the scoreboard. Clippers down 3-1. An opportunity, direct free kick just outside of the penalty area.
I think he's going for it. Yes, there's going to be a set move here. 3 of them lining up. One of them will possibly step over the ball.
Now the referee says, I'm not going to let you kick that ball until you get 10 yards away. Davidovich fakes the kick. Kowalik is over, and the ball hits the goal bar. Mitic hit the goal bar. No time unofficially.
It's a good way of taking a free kick. 3 men ran at the ball. 2 of them stepped over it, trying to force a hole in that wall of Russian players.
What a great... Oh, Kiros beats his man on the left, puts it into the middle. Kiros still with the ball on the left wing. Unofficially, no time left on the scoreboard.
Clippers coming a little more into the game when they shoot early.
3-1, Clippers down. Only the first half. They had tied it 1-1 in the early minutes of the game. Dinamo getting 2 quick goals later on. Sefer now of the Clippers turning around. And there's the whistle for the first half. And the final. Have 2 men responsible for the soccer resurgence here in Northern California, and hopefully all of California. On my right, Mr. Joe O'Neill, one of the owners of the Clippers. On my left, the other owner, Toby Hilliard. I'll talk with Mr. O'Neill only because he's taller and has a hat. Mr. O'Neill, what are your thoughts about this being a success as far as this type of game, an international game between the foreign side of a high caliber and your team?
Well, our only success, real financial success last year, was when we played foreign teams. We drew good crowds, and people seemed to take a great interest. As a matter of fact, today, after I don't know how many days and days of rain, this is a pretty fair turnout, I believe, Mario.
Does this give you an optimistic look as to the future of soccer with a turnout like this, in spite of the inclement weather you've had here this past week?
Oh, I definitely think so. I think we're going to pursue this program and bring in top teams wherever possible.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Mr. Hilliard, you've been with us 3 years now. I think I've had the pleasure of working with you. This is going to be the 3rd year. What are your thoughts on this great game of soccer that you knew nothing about 3 years ago?
I still don't know anything about it, but I certainly enjoy watching it. And one of the great things about soccer, I have a guest here today who's never seen it before, and he's just as excited as I am, having watched quite a lot of it now. And it's the one game that my wife gets a big kick out of. All the girls do. I like it.
That was a very bad pun, but I'll accept that from you, seeing that you are about the big kick. But the negotiations with a Russian team of the stature and caliber of Dínamo Kiev, was it very difficult in getting them to come here to the United States to play your team and be guests of yours here in Northern California?
Well, it was arranged through the Russian Soccer Federation. We didn't really know what team we were going to get when we asked the Russian Federation for a team to play against. And they sent us the best, and I think that's fine. I wish they wouldn't look quite so good today, but they sent us the best.
Well, the interesting thing, as I've observed, is not only your professional program, which has really been a successful one over the years, at least from the outlook that you are building fans, but also this great youth program that you both men are very interested in. What is being done to get American boys more involved in soccer and get them out here as potential paying fans in the years to come? Mr. O'Neill?
We entered a team in the Peninsula League. We're going to aim at mostly 18-year-old boys or under. We are continuing with an active clinic program, using our players, coaches, trainers, and so forth, and we've already seen a fantastic growth in the interest in soccer because of this.
Mr. Hilliard, what do you have to add to that?
Well, can I comment on that? Last summer, we had the great pleasure through the cooperation of the California Soccer Football Association and the Hunters Point boys club, we took 30 kids down in the country for 2 weeks for a soccer camp. And the net result of that was a very good team from Hunters Point is now in the league. And you might remember last year at our Santos game, they played at halftime and beat some boys that had played a lot more soccer.
All right, we want to thank you, gentlemen, for being with us. And this is halftime. We'll be back with the start of the second half right after this very important message.
To spare inside the post. He cut it even finer than that. He hit the post itself and it went in off there. Tony Knapp, incidentally, takes exactly the same sort of kick.
All right, and we're at about 8 minutes of play into the second half. The Clippers are within 1 goal of tying this game. The score, Dínamo Kiev 3, Clippers 2. And the goal, that second goal of the Clippers, came from a penalty kick by Fernandez. Pepe now has 2 for the game. Let's see if he can equalize Puzac's hat trick. Russians free kick, high into the penalty area. Cleared away by Chop. Head shot, cleared away by Chop. Dangerous play into that penalty area.
Yes, he was offside as well. I think that wasn't, it was both offside and dangerous kicking.
Davidovich with the ball. They're still playing 1 man shy. 10 men for the Clippers, 11 for Kiev. Oh, and the Russians now turning an opportunity into their favor. Davidovich passing it to Hofved. Hofved coming to midfield, putting it out to the left to Kiros. Kiros of the Clippers in his blue jersey, going down the left sideline. Hesitating, halting, looking, passing back to Hofved. Hofved with the ball. Puts it back to Kiros. Watch Fernandez break into the middle. Deep ball, long. Oh, great shot. Here's Sefer. And a left-footed shot.
Yes, he got the ball. It went off a Russian defender. It'll be a corner that Fernandez is going to take. No, he's giving it to Kiros.
3-2, Kiev. We're early in the second half. Fireworks already. Mitic still being tended to off the sidelines. Clippers playing 1 shy, and here's their corner kick. Ball high in the air. Fernandez going up.
Yes, the pushing offense there. There's always a lot of jostling in the penalty area as the players try and move in for the head shot from corner kicks.
Radikov booms it downfield, high in the air. Pushing from the back, I would suspect.
That's a foul. Number 2, Ferenc, free kick for the Clips.
Davidovich with the ball right in the center circle, trying to get it out to Marin. No chance.
Yes,
Russians.
Davidovich giving the right sort of pass, but he hasn't quite got the accuracy that the Russian midfield players have to put the long ball through to the right player.
Porkyan, the world-class winger, putting it into the center to Puzac. Oh, brilliantly defended there by number 6, Davidovich. Number 7, Bagovic with the ball. Beats his man, comes across the middle, and Stojanovic down on his knees to pick the ball up. Mitic is on the field. Here he is, the boy injured with the ball. Giving it to Davidovich. Oh, and a missed ball. And Kowalik now fighting for that ball. Sefer, bad pass. Useless.
I think Dr. Obradovic has told them to let the ball do the work, swing it about, but at the moment they still don't have the accuracy.
Sabo. Pushed the man, used his hands. Discussion between the referee and the captain of the Clippers, Milan Chop.
Remarkably incident-free game, Mario, considering that there are problems of language between these two teams. But both teams seem to be quite happy with the referees.
Great pass out to the left to Porkyan. Porkyan still with the ball. Sefer using his physicalness. He's a big boy. Porkyan a bit smaller in size and getting shoved around, getting a free kick as a result.
So with only 1 goal between it, there's a little bit of feeling creeping into the game. Clippers obviously realize they're in with a chance.
Number 4 takes the free kick for Dinamo.
Left-footed kick. He's going to get it high in the air towards the goal. Oh, punched away. There's Oh, he was all by himself. Porkuyan, number 11. He swung around and he ballooned it. He should have had an easy goal. Fourth goal it might have been.
Porkuyan and Puzak could have either got. I thought Puzak was going to hit it in. He had the best chance of the two. But he let it run to Porkuyan. He just swung and put it over.
Russians dominating at least these 10 minutes that we've seen here. That is a soggy field. You see how the ball just fell on the turf and just stuck there. Russians on the attack, moving quickly on the left. Oh, look at a foot race, trying to get around his man. Sefer gets the ball taken away by Chop, who throws it to Gavrich.
There's an indication of a man's confidence in his own speed and fitness when he pushes it past the fullback and completely tries to outrun him.
Davidovich off that. Clippers now. Midic putting the ball back to Gavrich. Oh, bad pass, intercepted. Russians looking for a player. Oh, a pass to the right of the player, number 9, Puzak. Couldn't turn around and get the ball, so the Clippers now have an opportunity. Marin working his way in, beating his man, putting it to the middle. Hoffvet. The game is getting a little faster, a little more brisk tackling. Midic cutting in the middle. Kiros, 2-on-1. Oh, Fernandez had a chance, like you said, Dennis. Had he trapped it, turned around, he might have had it. Tried to give it away. Kiros with the ball. Davidovich. Shot about the 25 yards out of the goal, wide. Radikoff with the ball. A foul called by the referee. Too many steps, I believe, under the new rule, and therefore it is going to be an indirect free kick awarded to the California Clippers inside the penalty area. Score 3-2, and about 15 minutes of 45 minutes gone in the second half.
You notice the Russians will make a wall between where the ball is being played and the goalkeeper, just two men. The goalkeeper was let it in.
Being confronted. The call is being disputed. The Russians standing around their goalkeepers put the ball down at the request of the referee, and the Clippers are now saying, consult your linesman. Does this bring to mind a very fancy game that was played in Wembley?
Yes, I had my hand up there, Mario. At Wembley in the World Cup, the Russian referee gave advice that gave England its third goal. The goal that turned out to be the winning goal. Remember, the line is part of the field of play. The ball must totally cross the line. And the referee says the ball did not totally cross the line, and therefore he's disallowed that goal.
So the Clippers now will have to make up that third goal some other way. It's 3-2 still. The ball did not cross the goal line, seemingly, and therefore the goal was disallowed by the referee, and the Clippers now have to go and find the equalizer all over again. I think the play more spirited now.
There's a big effort by the Clippers now, and the Russians becoming a little wild under this pressure. That sort of pass.
Puzak, number 9, passing to number 11, Porkuyan, who gave a bad pass. And the Clippers now moving. Blue-shirted Clippers moving from right to left. This is Kiros trying to beat his man. He does. Hoffvet looking for an opening. Tries to dribble around. He's going to have to play it back to Gavrich or across field. He does to Chop. Chop back. Oh, well played. Hoffvet with the ball. Back into the middle. Gavrich. Davidovich. Number 6. Clippers now on the attack. Moving well. Number 7. Marin. Cleared beautifully by the Russians. Out of bounds throw-in.
Yes, the Clippers are beginning to run now. They're beginning to run into the open spaces, and they're looking much more dangerous as a result.
Russians intercepted. Dynamo Kiev in white on the attack. Slowing the ball down, trying to get their men up. Well stopped by Kiros. Kiros plays it into Hofved. Hofved of the Clippers. Into Mitic. Mitic is looking, turning around, trying to find a player to help him out. Gavrich comes up on the left, puts the ball deep, too high.
Yes, the Clippers fault, still allowing this Russian defense to get back in time by holding the ball too long in midfield.
Well played shot from the players' bench. Looks like an old goalkeeper still wanting to try out his fisting. Oh, Mitic clear into the middle to Hofved. Clippers playing well. Exciting, action-packed soccer. Davidovich breaking through his man, getting out there. Sliding tackles by the Russians. Fernandez now. Now the Russians have pulled all 11 players into the defense. Fernandez has to put it. Should have passed off, decided to go against the goal, put it high over the goal bar. It's getting very dark here at Kezar Stadium. About 20 minutes of play in the 45-minute second half period elapsed. Kiev 3, Clippers 2.
Tron Hofved, Mario, is playing a big part in this Clipper revival. He's coming up as the extra man now. He's constantly giving an extra man an attack, coming up from his half-back position. And he's playing the biggest part so far, I think, in the fact that the Clippers seem to have 4 forwards now instead of the traditional 3 they've been using in the first half.
Dynamo Kiev, Dennis, has put in its first substitute of the game. Number 11, Porkuyan, has gone out, the world-class player, and trying to identify the player on the left wing with a clean white jersey, which is a distinguishing mark this afternoon. So bear with us until we find out who he is. Medved. Serebryanikov. Now, this is the player that just came in. Number 14.
Number 14, that's Semenov. Rashilov Semenov.
All right, he has the same first name as Molotov, if you remember, Vyacheslav, and the last name is Semenov, and he's come in for Kuyan, the left wing. This is he, number 14, just passing it back to Puzac. Soviets are on the attack. Cleared away brilliantly by Milanchov. Hofved. Momcilo Gavrich of the Clippers. Hofved with the ball. Beats his man. He's got to get away from him. There's that bad pass. Intercepted by Puzac, who has a hat-trick that afternoon.
This ball getting very heavy now. Very difficult to work in midfield. More essential than ever to play the long ball, let it do the work.
Mitic on the left, and a great pass by Fernandez. Mitic puts it into the middle, and Davidovich is all by himself. Marin on the right, puts it into the center. No one there. Cleared away by Medved. Into the middle. Russians occupy the center field all by themselves. Moving on to the attack.
5 defenders back against 3.
Sabo puts it back. And a pass that goes to the left of Medved, out of bounds. Clippers ball. This is Mitic, number 8 of the Clippers. 3-year veteran here in the United States. One of the stars last year of the Clippers, a very high-scoring striker. Sosnikin bangs it out of there, well into Clipper territory. "23 minutes gone, approximately 22 minutes of play left. Kiev 3, Clippers 2. Nice pass, too deep for Davidovich. Russians on the attack.
Almost a stalemate. Now, Mario, I think the Clippers are really coming more into the game, and the fact that perhaps their conditioning isn't as bad as we thought
Pushing foul.
The Russians are not as explosive as when they started. Their first 3 goals were as a result of explosive movements when they really went through fast.
Oh, mistimed jumper. Tall halfbacks and fullbacks of the Russians make it look so easy. Oh, holding on Puzach. Looked like an American football or rugby tackle, Dennis.
Yes, that was holding from behind as Puzach went through. He scored 3 goals already, and they certainly weren't going to let him score another one.
Free kick. The Clippers will be asked, politely at first, by the referee to get 10 yards away from that ball.
This is a usual gambit, actually, to stand near the ball so that the wall can get in position.
Referee is asked that they move back 10 yards.
Let's see if the Russians have a trick shot that they're going to use. Yes.
Oh, it's a swerving shot that went around that wall, and Stojanovic was up to the challenge. Here's Davidovich for the Clippers.
That's the sort of shot Mario, the great Pele puts in from free kicks with regularity. He can put a spin on the ball.
Oh, look at that beautiful pass. Cut off by Hofved. Stojanovic throws it to Zephyr. Steve, you're working on the right, a very exciting, strong player for the Clippers in his first season with them. Hungarian boy that they've just acquired. Zephyr with the ball on the right wing. Crossing the mid-stripe to Mitic. Loses the ball. Zephyr again with it. Zephyr still with the ball. It's an interesting call.
Remarkably good footwork, beautiful footwork for a man who's playing at fullback. Zephyr looked more like a forward than a fullback when he was controlling that ball up the wing.
Here we go, the Russians on the attack. Number 10 breaking into the middle, trying to keep the ball away from Kiros. Puts it back. Sabo. Cut off, called for an interference, didn't get it. Mitic with the ball, puts it up to Davidovich. Now Davidovich of the Clippers, running. Tripping foul by number 7, Bagovic. Bagovic hasn't been in the game too much today.
Mitic combining with Hofted is producing a much stronger midfield game now for the Clippers. Dangerous kicking, I think, there, no doubt about that from Chop. He's kicking at head height as the player went down to head it.
Milan Chop, the chopper. It's a headhunter there, and the referee called him for it. Russians making space for themselves. Space. Oh!
Open!
Great shot. Number 14, the substitute for Kuryan in. Couldn't get a shot off. Russians still with the ball. Semenov, Vyacheslav puts it across the middle. Mitic traps it. Looking to get it out of there. Does to Hofved. Hofved back to Mitic. Davidovich. Holding foul. Number 7, Bagovic again called for the infraction.
There's a lot of walking instead of running, Mario, an indication of just how heavy these conditions. The ball is really very heavy now, and the player's feet must feel like lead.
Kowalik. Very sure footing in spite of the fact that the field is very wet and very soft. Tripping foul by Mitic. On Sabo. So these two teams meet again in Los Angeles Sunday week when they will battle again. It's been a close game all throughout 50, 60 minutes that have been played so far. Cleared away safely. Hoffed to Davidovic. Sefer. Hoffed again for the Clippers. Oh, brilliant clearance by the Russians.
As the game's going on, Clippers are coming more and more into the game. They're much surer of themselves. Micic is playing a much finer game in the center. He's taking over that role as midfield general. He's so badly missing in the first half.
Sabo, Medved tripped Fernandez, and I believe is going to have his name taken. Gavrich on a muddy patch here at Kezar Stadium. Take the free kick for the Clippers. 16 minutes officially left to go in this second half. Clippers down by 1 goal.
Great players in the air, the Russians. They hurl themselves high. There's hardly a head ball that's gone, a head shot that hasn't been taken by a Russian defender.
Sefer again was out of position, but fortunately was able to get the ball back again. Bill Kiros with the ball. Hoffed sliding in the mud, trying to get the ball. Mitic. And a bad pass from Davidovic. Tried to be a little fancy. Kowalik. Too much dribbling. Yeah. Clippers lose the ball.
Clippers look so much more effective when they play on those drier, open parts on the wings. When they're in midfield, they don't quite have the same quality of ball players, the Russians, to dribble through.
Ilan Chop coming there, saving the ball from going out, putting it back to Momcilo Gavrich. Ball still in play. 14 minutes left to go. 3-2, Kiev ahead. Very exciting game that has kept 15,000 approximately fans here, very warm from standing up, clapping, cheering, and yelling. We've been a very vocal type crowd.
Oh yes, there must be about over 15,000 here today, and the umbrellas are going up as the rain starts coming down again.
That's right, it is starting to rain, and the umbrella brigade begins to unfold. Clippers with the ball. Kiros trying to get it to Fernandez. Fernandez still with the ball. Beats his man, using his body as a shelter between the defender and the ball. Gives it to Hoffvet. Hoffvet to Gavrich. Still, the Clippers now really pressing the attack. More play. Oh, great ball long.
Marion came screaming in for that header there, but again, he's only a little man. He was out-jumped with the fullback at least 6 inches taller than he.
Kowalik came from Poland, went to the Chicago Mustangs, and played in his first season in the North American Soccer League so well that he was the most valuable player of the league, won an automobile as a result of his efforts, also scored the most goals, and was in every all-star team in the North American Soccer League. Chop, turning the ball around. This is Gavrich, looking for Mitic. Lots of Yugoslavians on this side. 9 to be exact. Fernandez still with the ball. Trying to cut it over. Oh, and here's Mitic. Oh, and a cannonball shot. Shots on goal by Kiros, by Fernandez. Repeated attacks on goal repelled by Dinamo, and the fans just love it here this afternoon.
Yes, this forward line of Micic, Kowalik, and Fernandez is beginning to click now. They're all new. I didn't expect to see them at their best today, and Fernandez still isn't fit, but they're beginning really to come into the game, particularly with Fernandez going through now.
Davidovic with the ball, trying to, he can't lose it. He does. Oh, he was able to get back there and get the ball Clippers still in possession. Gavrich to Davidovic, the midfield brain of this team. Oh, Milic on the give and go, try to hook it in. Milancha, oh, look where Stojanovic is, coming way out of his goal, cannot touch the ball with his hands.
Russians beginning to protect this one-goal lead. They've been having 10 men in defense most of the time.
A brilliant sliding tackle, going for the ball and not for the man. Therefore, it's official. Marin, as some people call him, number 7, putting the ball out of play. Deep shot, no good. 11 minutes and 19 seconds unofficially left to go. Any strategy changes, you think, Dennis?
No, except that the Russians are not putting as many men up. They were using a consistent 4 forwards at one stage now, but only one man is normally staying in the Clippers' half.
Russians with the ball mid-stripe, trying to find space. Here's Medved, international player, young man, puts the ball deep and through. Chop comes through and cuts it off. Now the Clippers are running. They're running and outplaying the Russians at their game. And the crowd is really behind the Clippers.
Chop's playing a wonderful game. He's coming into the attack more and more, breaking up attacks. Great player. This is Fernandez.
Brilliant try. Fernandez to Kowalik. Kowalik back to Fernandez.
Kowalik fighting for every ball, that time putting his backside.
And with the score, Kiev 3, Clippers 2. We'll be back with more exciting action right after this. 9 minutes 45 seconds to go. The action and pace fast and furious now. The Clippers behind by 1. Russians, oh, brilliant save by Stojanovic on a shot by Puzak. Would have been his 4th goal. Stojanovic down full length, snaring that ball.
He thought he had him wrong-footed, but he changed direction quickly and flung himself to the right. A fine save, fine anticipation.
9 minutes 21, Dennis. 3-2, Kiev over Clippers, and no one is leaving the stadium. They think that the Clippers have a chance not only to tie, but to go ahead and win. The Clippers really have a very strong following here in Northern California.
I think actually when these 3 Clippers forwards really get working together, this is going to be a very strong side. The early hesitation in defense is now over.
Oh, and a brilliant save by Stojanovic, again sprawling full length, cutting off the angle and getting the ball.
It just shows how quick Puzak can go through there. Just as I was talking, he went through on that long through ball. He was like a flash. Almost another goal. Only brilliant anticipation by the goalkeeper saved it.
An interesting thing about an exhibition game like this, that the Russians are not content with a 1-goal lead, that they want to go ahead and win convincingly, that they are a top side, and the Clippers really shouldn't be in this ball game as they seem to be this afternoon. Mitic on the attack for the Clippers, going right to left on your screen. Kowalik have to be pulled out. Mitic running through, pushing, shoving.
Oh no,
what do we have? What kind of a foul?
he was tackling from behind. He took the man's feet, there was no doubt.
7 minutes 55 seconds to go. The crowd looking for that equalizer. The foul awarded to the Clippers, and the Clippers will have that free kick. The last free kick taken hit the goal bar just at the end of the second period.
It was nearly there. It went off a Russian defender. Another foot and he'd have jabbed that one in.
This game has not been marred by any bad, dirty play at all. It has been tough. Not an inch given on either side. There have been fair charges, and overall the technique and caliber has been very high considering the, I think, very bad playing surface.
Oh yes, these conditions are bad. They're very tiring too at this stage of the season. Puzak, tremendous speed when he gets these through balls. Great acceleration after over 5 yards, though he was offside in that occasion.
This is Sefer, the very tall, strong fullback, and he's been held.
Indication that the Russians are a little bit hustled now. They're having to play harder to keep these Clippers out.
6 minutes and 31 seconds unofficially on the scoreboard. Kiev ahead by 1 goal, 3-2. Clippers, many of, here's Midic just outside the penalty area. He's got to come through, takes a shot with his left foot right into the hands of Radikov. Radikov booms it out of there, and there's that deep, one-on-one, and Stojanovic comes out and belts it with his feet.
Stepanov, the fresh man coming in, took that through pass. It was a brilliant pass, but again, fine anticipation by the goalkeeper.
When that goalkeeper comes out of that 44/18 penalty area, he is like any other running player on the field. Cannot use his hands. Kowalik with the ball for the Clippers. Stops, turns, beats his man, looking for some help. Still with the ball. Puts it back. Here's Hoffvet, 3-year veteran. Puts the ball across the goal mouth. Kowalik again. Trying to find shooting. Oh, and he tried to find Fernandez. Medved, the international player, booms it out of there for the Russians. Semenov to Puzac. Puzac, the hat-trick man. 3 goals this afternoon. Always the very deadly striker. Chips the ball through. Stojanovic again coming out.
Beautiful through ball. This is what the Russians have excelled in this afternoon. The ability to see the man running into the open space. It's given them 3 goals already.
5 minutes and 3 seconds unofficially on the scoreboard. Kiev 3, Clippers 2. Clippers want to equalize, not go ahead. Just reading the scores from England yesterday, Dennis, and Bobby Tambling of Liverpool scored in the 64th and 65th minute, so it can be done.
Oh, yes, indeed. Tambling is a great opportunist.
Shot at goal wide by Medved, who has come up from his right fullback position.
I think this Russian side realized that they're using more and more this long through ball, relying on the greater speed of their forwards, and a slightly wide. The Clippers are now using not the traditional 4. They've moved 1 man up in an effort to get this final goal. It makes them more vulnerable to the through ball, but they're obviously going for the win.
The Russians coming through now, playing all their players right in the Clippers' half of the field. The Clippers now having to get the ball out and well into attack if they're going to equalize. 3 minutes, 55 seconds unofficially. Fine performances by both teams. Should the Clippers lose, nothing to be ashamed of. They've taken on the champions of all Russia, Dynamo Kiev, and really put them through a test. 3-2, and if it were not for, I think, an early lapse in defense, the score and the game might be a little different at this point. Fernandez tripped as he was breaking through. Oh, some bad blood now. Kiros coming across number 11. And with the score, Kiev 3, California Clippers 2. We're going to be back for the final 3 minutes after this important message. 3 minutes to go, 3-2. Free kick, Hoffvet, because Fernandez was pulled down. Kiros tried to get back at Medved. First really violent situation in the game. Some very, very bad pushing at this point.
Yes, both players having a go. The referee decides in favor of the Clippers.
Now we have Gavrich pushing Puzac and saying, why are you wasting time? The clock is running. Let us get this free kick off. 2 minutes, 33 seconds unofficially to go. The ball cleared away. Just been advised by the executive vice president of the Clippers, Derek Liechty, that the 2 teams have agreed to play again. In other words, they'll be playing in Los Angeles on March the 2nd at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Oh, here is Kiros into the clear, puts it goal. Oh, brilliant save by Radikov. Brilliant diving save by Radikov.
As that ball was curling into the far right-hand corner, but he used his great height, cat-like ability, and sprung across and took the ball.
Fernandez being consoled there. 1 minute 51. What I was saying is that there will be a series which will be 3 games. And here's that brilliant save by Radikov. And now Fernandez being pushed by Soshnikin. And the referee now is calling for both teams to keep calm for the remaining 1 minute 34. Trying to tell you that there will be 3 games. This game today, a game in Los Angeles, March the 2nd, and they have agreed to play a rematch Sunday, March the 9th, right here again at Kezar Stadium. So the Dínamo Kiev team will be hosts of Northern California twice, once of Southern California. So great opportunity for soccer fans to come and watch some exciting play. Rhubarb going on at midfield.
We seem to have a few language problems there. The referee trying to explain to both sides the reasons for his decision.
It's been a great game so far. Some very, very fine play throughout the game. The weather conditions have not been the best. There's the umbrella brigade of the California Clippers. Here backing their team, about 15,000 strong, and seeing their team really putting on a fine show. And if again, as I said, going back to that second goal, had it not been for that one defensive lapse, we might be tied up here in the final 34 seconds of play unofficially. So while the referee is trying to restore order, the clock on the scoreboard is running, but I'm sure he's taking time out. Am I assuming wrong?
No, he will be, he should be, for this incident, be taking time out. It'll be probably, it shows 18 seconds, but I think more like 2 minutes. The referee is the sole arbiter of time. He just receives help from the official clock.
It's been a very, very exciting game. We've been delighted. That is the Bay Broadcasting Company, KUDO, in bringing this match to you. Dennis and I have been very happy being part of this telecast. The play really has been first class. Sefer putting it out of bounds. No time showing on that scoreboard clock. Kiev 3, Clippers 2, but that's unofficial. Puzac breaking through, 3 goals to his credit, putting it across the goal mouth. No one there. Kiros coming all the way back from his left wing position for the Clippers. Now on the attack. Mitic trying to beat his man. Gets jostled off the ball.
Kiros was open then, but he didn't get the pass going up that left wing. Just a few seconds to go. There's 8 Clipper men all up in attack.
Cleared away safely by Soshnikin. Ball still in play. Russians touching it last. Not very many people have moved. Anything can happen. The scoreboard clock does show no time remaining, but play is still going on. Medved. Here's an opportunity. Soshnikin with Mitic one-on-one. Marin with the ball, number 7, trying to get through the middle, and he does. Puts the ball out. Sefer putting it to Davidovich on the right. Ball put out of bounds.
Referee looking at his watch, only a few seconds to play. He was doing everything now to try and get that equalizing goal.
Bad pass. Last opportunity perhaps wasted by the Clippers. Chop. Semenov.
Goalkeeper had to play it. Goalkeeper had to play it with his feet. He may not play the ball with his hands outside the penalty area. Otherwise it's an indirect free kick.
These two teams will tussle again. March 2nd in Los Angeles, and again here March 9th, Kezar Stadium. It's been a very cold day for us, the booth being exposed as it is. It's been overcast, and there are threats now of serious heavy downpours, but not one fan is moving.
All credit, Mario, to this Kiev side. Though they've 1 goal ahead, they're still playing loose. They're not bringing everybody back into defense.
Kiros to Hofvet. Clippers on the attack. Ball all the way across to Marin. Marin with the ball. Chips it. Cleared away by Krulikovsky. Clippers still with the ball. Sefer puts it goalward, high in the air. Charging the goalkeeper, I think.
Kwalik giving about 5 or 6 inches away in height.
The Clippers are a different ball club than the club that we telecast past season. More exciting with the addition of Fernandez and Kowalik. more poised and therefore playing exceptionally well against this international famous side.
So I think except for possibly the speed of Puzak and someone like Zabo putting the ball through, there's been very, very little between both
Chop's
sides.
got to get it in that goal mouth area before the whistle blows. Sefer lofting it high. Kowalik.
Yes,
dangerous play.
He tried a bicycle. That's an overhead kick, a shot at goal. Kiros, but he was in close proximity to a Russian player.
I think the 15,000 plus fans who came out this afternoon are not disenchanted at all with the caliber play and also with the performance of their Clippers, who have done exceptionally well against a very high-powered side, the three-time Russian champions and present champions of all Russia, Dínamo Kiev, who, by the way, for those of you who from the Ukraine will protest, yes, they are from the Ukraine and claim to be a separate entity in the USSR. That's the game. That's the game. That is the final whistle and the score. Dynamo Kiev has won this one 3-2 over the California Clippers, and the fans are not unhappy. It's been a great